I mean, everyone from Luka Doncic, Marcus Smart, Gabe Vincent, Austin Reeves, LeBron James, they have plenty of options to play point guard. Every one of them can do it, and we're talking about two of the highest level playmakers in the entire NBA here. Obviously, Luka and LeBron. They are absolutely elite and definitely can be a floor general, lead the offense, and obviously they have proven that time and time again. But even if they're hurt or sitting out a game, they obviously have Austin Reeves, who took a leap in that last season and has continued to show that he does have playmaking ability and to be a point guard and kind of a backup floor general for a team too. So having him as a backup playmaker, obviously can play on the ball, off the ball. All around, this is a very talented group for them, which got only even more talented and more deeper after signing Marcus Smart. You know, we often think of him as a defensive-minded pest out there. That's pretty much what he does, but then again, he's also a pretty good point guard too. Having a career average of over 4.5 assists per game to under 2 turnovers per game, that being over a 2 assist to turnover ratio, obviously playing point guard for many playoff teams with Boston, having over 100 playoff games to his name and under his belt, so that's yet another valuable asset they have to their team. His ability to play point guard, then guarding point guards or shooting guards, even smaller wings on defense, that's definitely a good addition to their team. Then I guess for kind of the final name in that list, Gabe Vincent, not really a true point guard by any means, and he's kind of the last one that's having a changing role entering next season. Now with the addition of Marcus Smart, he probably won't get as much playing time. Many believe he might be traded, and his role with their team is definitely under question going forward. All around though, I definitely like their point guard spot, having plenty of depth, having plenty of talent, having now some two-way talent at point guard, and this might be my favorite spot in their entire team. And you know, if you really want to, you could even name Bronny and Chris Mann into that list too, both of which have played some point guard, more so are combo guards that kind of more so lean at shooting guard, but even can add them to that list if you want to. But then moving on to shooting guard, and once again have pretty damn good depth here as well. Starting shooting guard will be Austin Reeves to their team, or at least I think he probably will be. Barring them switching him for Marcus Smart or maybe making a different trade, I think that's likely the route for them to take. I mean, I think it would take a gigantic thing for them to do that, and probably something they don't want to do. I think we often underestimate team chemistry and team continuity. The fact that if you change a guy that's been in one role for quite some time, Austin having played that role for their team for roughly half a decade at this point, that can be a change that might not always be worth it, though I wouldn't completely put it off the table. But then after Austin, we got Marcus Smart, Gabe Vincent, Dalton Knecht, Bronny James, Chris Mann, and even I guess if you want to, you could throw in both Jake LaRavia and Adu Thero, though they're more bigger wings in my opinion. But for their backup shooting guard depth, this will be occupied primarily by Marcus Smart, Dalton Knecht, and Gabe Vincent, with Smart likely to take up the bulk of the backup shooting guard minutes. Yes, he'll play a little bit of backup point guard, but between both Luka, LeBron, and Austin, they'll be on the court at all times and more so be their primary ball handler and thus make Marcus Smart more of an off-ball shooting guard. Where he definitely has been a bit inconsistent, you know, he's a pretty good playmaker, but when he plays off the ball, he can definitely be up and down. Being a 32% career three-point shooter, having good moments, but definitely not being very reliable, only having one season shooting above 35% from 3, only being a 35.3% corner three-point shooter, so this is something that he'll definitely have to work at and definitely have to prove some people wrong too. I'm definitely hoping for it. If he can be at least an average three-point shooter and really take advantage of the attention that Luka, LeBron, and Austin draw away from him, then he could be a valuable addition to not only their defense, but also their offense too. Then for Gabe Vincent, really hoping for a more consistent year for him. Last season, he was absolutely terrible from October through November, but then from December to all the way to April, shot roughly 38% from 3. So if he can maintain that and actually begin the season that way, then he might sway the attention and change a few Laker fans' opinions, who many of which don't want him on the team and definitely aren't too fond of him. But then moving on to small forward, and once again we have a pretty deep and versatile group. Right now the starting small forward is looking to be Rui Hachimura again. You know, if you really want to, you can switch him and LeBron, but it doesn't really matter that much. Defensively, Rui is often the guy that has to take on the small forward matchup, usually the tougher of the wing matchups anyway. LeBron takes the easier matchup to play off the ball more and conserve energy, while Rui is kind of forced into that tougher defensive role, which is not really a role that's suited for him, and If you ask me, I would kind of be in favor of switching him and Jared Vanderbilt, that being their starting lineup, and I guess that's a topic for another day, but for their complete small forward group, we got Rui Hachimura, the new addition of Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt, Adou Thiero. If you want to, you can count Dalton Knecht here, and LeBron despite playing more power forward at this point. And well, this might be their weakest group, or maybe their second weakest group. You know, the one that definitely has plenty to prove at this point. Rui Hachimura in the starting lineup, always kind of being up for conversation and up for debate if he should be in there. Not anything against Rui Hachimura, but again with the defense, having that good point of attack and good wing defender for that fact, not really having one at the moment. Maybe that could eventually be filled by Jake LaRavia one day. Maybe temporarily that could be filled better by Jared Vanderbilt on defense. Maybe long down the line, Adou Thiero could fill that role for them, but right now it's kind of a toss-up and not something they currently have filled on both ends of the court. Hachimura obviously being a great fit offensively, showing that in leading their team in 3-point percentage in both of the past 2 years now. But they do have a subtraction from this position, also at their power forward spot with Dorian Finney-Smith, and no, there are some questions that need to be answered. Can anyone kind of replicate that or kind of fill the void left by Finney-Smith? Can Hachimura do that? Can Jake LaRavia do that? Can Vanderbilt kind of step up and get back to what he once was for their team? That's kind of the debate here with their small forward group. I mean, definitely plenty of playing time to potentially go around here. Hachimura obviously filling a big role for their team, but after that point could be a toss-up between Jake LaRavia, Jared Vanderbilt, and Dalton Knecht, and maybe even Adou Thiero too. But with positions kind of being positionless at this point, not much of a difference between small forward and power forward with their team, which at the starting spot will be occupied by LeBron James, no question about that, followed up with Rui Hachimura, who also plays there quite a bit, mainly when LeBron goes to the bench and then Rui Hachimura shifts to power forward, Jake LaRavia off the bench, Jared Vanderbilt off the bench, Adou Thiero off the bench, even Maxi Kleber might play here off and on, and maybe even a little bit of Jackson Hayes here and there too. Though obviously we have LeBron James at power forward, that will be the guy that takes up the bulk of their power forward minutes, though he is mainly playing there defensively, not really offensively. Defensively, that's kind of filled by a combination of himself, Luka Doncic, and Rui Hachimura depending on the matchup. And well, once again, they don't have a great option for defense in their starting lineup. If Vanderbilt would enter it, then he could take on the bigger wing matchups, but again, I guess that's a topic for another day. Overall though, once again, pretty good depth at power forward. Looking forward to if Adou Thiero can get any playing time here, if he can prove to be a good defensive option in their rotation, if Maxi Kleber can offer some versatility here at the 4. You know, I'm more intrigued with him playing at the 5 in some matchups, but even here and there might be valuable to play at power forward, giving them kind of a 2 big lineup kind of look. That could be something to look forward here with their power forward spot. But then finally finishing up at center, here we have a new face and definitely a welcome addition to their starting lineup, that being DeAndre Ayton. Obviously taking over for Jackson Hayes, who they also brought back, now rightfully being their backup center, not their starting center like he was post-trade deadline, even though he did play pretty well during the regular season. Didn't quite live up to it during the postseason and definitely fell out of trust with JJ Redick. Also bringing back Christian Koloko behind them, re-signing him earlier today via 2-way contract, and after a really good Summer League performance and some good moments last season, I was happy to see it with Christian Koloko. So he currently slots as their third center, Hayes as their backup center, and DeAndre Ayton as their definitive de facto number 1 starting center, which will definitely be fun to watch play out. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day or night.